everybody, it's me, Margaret, and I am here today talking about cotton yarn. I'm filming this in the summer of 2019, and summer is a time when most people like to do smaller projects, usually a lot of times with cotton. But cotton from the big box stores, you know, like Joann, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, things like that, those often tend to have problems. One, they're not as soft as more high quality cottons, and more importantly, they fade. So I did an experiment, a not so scientific experiment, where I tested them to see what kind of fade each of these brands, and there's 6 here, would give us. So I'll walk you through the process, and then we'll also talk about how each of them feels. Alright, so I've got these 5 different cottons here. Let's look at each one. This is the Bernat Handicrafter. Let me spit that out. Bernat Handicrafter that we've got there. This is Peaches and Cream. And this is called Red Heart Scrubby Smoothie. Feels just like regular cotton. Here is Bernat Softee Baby Cotton. And this is Premier Home. Now all of them feel pretty much the same except for this one. And this one is considerably softer. Oh look, and there's one more that I just found in the closet. This was I Love This Cotton. I made this little round out of it. And we're going to test them out. I can only do 4 at a time because I only have 4 burners on my stove. But the plan is to put 1 pot holder and then a pure cotton piece of fabric to see if any dye is absorbed. So we'll just put 1 in each of these pots. Where's the tiny little one? Here it is. I had dropped it on the stairs, and here's its white control. So each have a cotton pot holder with a white control. I'm then going to put, this is 2 cups of water. I don't know how much it's going to take. More than that. 4 cups of water and a teaspoon of laundry detergent. Now this happens to be Purex, which is an inexpensive detergent, but I think it's okay. Alright, so let me repeat that with each of these. Look how that one just absorbed readily into the water, but this one resists water a little bit. Can you kind of see? It's just sort of floating on top, so I'm going to have to make sure everything gets totally submerged in there. So I'm going to turn all these on to high, and we'll bring them to a boil. Oh, and this little pot only held 2 cups of water, so I put only a half a cup of detergent in this pot. Now for each of these, I did stick my hand in there and squeeze so that each one would be saturated. I mixed the detergent through, and I have the white control piece is actually sitting on top of it, except for the one in the back. That little guy right there had a hard time staying put, so I'm just going to let it do its own thing. Now I want to go on the record as saying that I really do know how to do a scientific experiment, and this is not it. For example, if you were going to actually and truly try to compare each of these, we'd need to do it in the very same pan, or at least a pan, or rather pot, that was the exact same. But in this case, it would take entirely too long, and I think we'll get the gist of fading from this method. So I'm guessing, and it does appear that this one is going to come to a boil first. So I'm going to go ahead and set the timer for it for 5 minutes as soon as it comes to a nice rolling boil. I guess 5 minutes is enough. I'm not sure. We'll see. Okay, that looks like a good boil. I'm going to turn it down just a touch to keep it sort of at this simmer like this, and set the timer for 5 minutes. It's counting down. The other ones I'll just have to write down their time and watch it more carefully. And this one already appears to be fading some. You can see the water right there, so we'll see what's going on with that. However, over here, it doesn't appear to be fading at all. This Bernat Handicrafter cotton does seem to be fading some as well. And I think this one does too. This is the I Love This Cotton. I'll have to say this one so far is doing the best. This is the Bernat Softee cotton, which also feels really good too. Well, I'm happy to say that this one looks like it's done the best. Ooh, it's still hot through my gloves. Take it out. And the white control piece does look like it has a slight bit of yellow-green. I don't know, we'll know better when it dries. But in the meantime, I'm going to do a cold water rinse on these. And you know you're not going to have boiling water when you wash your clothes, but this will give us a good idea. Oh, the next one's ready. Let me go stop the timer. Now we look in here, we can see a lot of the dye that came off. And you know, that one did not have a lot of dye in it, which strikes me as funny. It was only like flecks of color. So that's not a good sign. That Bernat Handicrafter bled a lot. And the I Love This Cotton from Hobby Lobby. There's a good bit of pink in there. And here we have the results. Now these have just been rinsed with cold water and then dried outside, and that's all you got. Now I think that I can probably get some of that extra dye out of, say, that one right there, maybe by another wash in the washing machine. So I'll try that next, but for the most part you can see what I've got going on here. There's the object. This is the piece that I had in the pot, and this is the white shirt. This is a piece of the white shirt that this was cut from, so you can see the contrast of how much color it absorbed. And this one of course was white. I'll have to compare some pictures from before I did it. I've got these pinned on here so I could make sure I had the right ones matched up, but you can definitely see that some have changed colors. This one looked a lot worse. It turned out okay. It's not so bad, but it looked worse when it was in the hot water, but it rinsed out pretty well. This one still, I think, did the best, for sure. And then, move cozy. Then we have this Premier Cotton, which looked a little bad. Well, I think this is the one that looked bad in the pot. And you can see the difference there. And here was the I Love This Cotton, and it did definitely fade. You can see the colors there. But the best observation I've got here is that this one, I Love This Cotton, and this Bernat Baby Softee Baby Cotton feel the best, for sure. Even after they've been sitting outside in the sun and dried, they're still soft and they feel great. However, these are very, very stiff. All the rest of them are. This one, as you can see, preferred by the cat, turned out pretty well. But I'm going to toss them in the washer now and see what happens. Okay, so we're back on another day. All of the pot holders have been washed, as well as their little pieces that were, you know, boiled with them. So we can see if any of the color came out in the wash, which could be beneficial. All right, so let's start up here with Bernat Handicrafter cotton. It looks pretty good, I think. It's a good workhorse yarn. Here is the piece that I boiled with it that had faded pretty badly, and you can see the control piece that was this white, so it's, you know, definitely darker, that's for sure. Then we have the peaches and cream over here, and it never went back to its original. Once upon a time that was white. So now it's all of a mint green or aqua or whatever you want to call it. You can see that this piece is darker than the white control piece, so that's not so great. Then we have the Red Heart Scrubby Smoothie, and I think this one turned out pretty well, actually. This one did lighten up a little bit when it got washed, so that's good to know. So that's not so bad. Then we've got this one here, the Bernat Softee Baby Cotton, and this one did awesome. It never really faded to speak of, I don't think. So, and it also feels great, as a matter of fact. And that's the control piece right there, so you can see. So I really do like this a lot. Then we have Premier Home over here. And I think this looks very, very worn. It looks like I've had this for years and years and years, but when I look at the original, maybe that's not the case. No, this is definitely a little brighter. But anyway, the fading did come out just a touch, so that was good. It's not so bad. This is not so bad. It just looked worse when we were actually boiling it, but the color did wash away some. And then of course we've got I Love This Cotton over here, the last one. And this looks kind of worn to me. Not as bright and bold as it once did, but it's okay. As far as the color goes, it's still pretty faded, even though it got washed. You can see where I had marked each one with a Sharpie up there, or can you? So that we could tell them all apart. But this one does feel awesome. Okay, let's talk about the outcome. Now here's the deal. These have all been washed and dried in the dryer. And I have worked with these, so I know what they feel like. And I had them in order of what I thought felt the best, and you know, I know about their fade now for the particular color choices that I have here. But I wondered, just off the top of my head, I wonder if somebody who knows nothing about yarn, what their feeling would be if I just said, tell me which one you think is softest. So I plopped all of them, I had them in a big clump, and I plopped all of them in my husband's lap. And I said, put these in order from softest to least soft, and let me see what you come up with. And funnily enough, his matched mine exactly. All 6 were in the exact same order. So that's good to know, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. So let's begin with the least soft of the bunch, and that was this one, which is Peaches and Cream, and this is sold everywhere. Peaches, I even made a top out of this, but the thing about it is it's very, very stiff. Even though it's been washed and dried in the dryer, it has this real hung out to dry feeling. It also faded the most out of all of them. Now keep in mind though that this is not a true scientific experiment that I did. Different colorways will probably have different types of levels of fading or non-fading or whatever the case may be. But in this particular case, this one faded a lot. Remember that the initial color was white with blue and green specks in it. And now you can see it's definitely aqua. I mean, I have on white here, and we saw the results earlier. Now don't get me wrong, this is a very good workhorse yarn. This will be fine for me to use as a pot holder in my kitchen, and it holds up beautifully. It's just that, you know, it faded, and it's not, and I made a top out of this very stuff a while back. It was a very open, loose weave, and it was fine. I wore a cami underneath it, it was fine. But I don't remember it fading this much, and maybe because I washed it in whites with bleach, which I normally wash my whites, but did not do with this. I don't know. I don't know what the case is, but here's the result of this one, so keep that in mind. Okay, the next of the least soft, we're getting better. Okay, we're going up the scale. This one is Bernat Handicrafter cotton. And this one faded a good bit. However, it washed up pretty well. Well, we saw the results earlier. I'm filming this out of order, so I can't remember exactly where I was. But I will have shown you the results before this point. This, again, is a good workhorse yarn. It's not measurable. This one's not measurable either. But I'm just saying, here are the levels of softness. Again, this will be terrific in the kitchen as a pot holder, and may or may not work for clothes. I think it definitely depends upon the style of clothes, and I would not do it in a tight weave. This one either. Then the next one is, what is this? Premier Home. And this one is softer than these two. And as far as the fading goes, the white is white, and the blue and the red, everything looks true to color. The problem is it looks very worn. This looks overall faded, as if I were to have had it for years. But I haven't ever used it. I've just washed it. So that tells you about the dye in this particular colorway. Again, remember, your mileage may vary. But it's feeling a little better now as we climb the scale here. This one feels pretty good. This is Red Heart Scrubby Smoothie. And I have to say that the colors look great. It did fade a little bit initially, but the white looks pretty white, the green, the red, and it doesn't look like it's 500 years old. The colors are sharp and bright, so that's good. Red Heart Scrubby Smoothie. And then there's this one. This is Bernat Baby Softee. Not to be confused with Bernat Handicrafter Cotton. This is Baby Softee. No, Softee Baby. Did I say that right? Bernat Softee Baby. And not only does it feel fantastic, but it didn't fade. So that's important to know. At least, again, I have to always put this disclaimer in. This colorway didn't fade. I've never had any of the other colorways. So keep that in mind. If you want to make a garment or whatever, Bernat Baby Softee would probably be a good choice. And then the winner in softness was I Love This Cotton. However, it looks very worn. It did fade a good bit, and it has that well-loved look, like I've used it for years. But it does feel awesome. So I think the overall winner, though, it is soft. It wasn't rated the softest by the team of Tucker and Margaret, but it doesn't fade. It is soft. It looks awesome. So Bernat Softee Baby is the winner as far as I'm concerned for the big box store yarns. Now, if you have used another big box store yarn, like from Joann Michaels, Hobby Lobby, Walmart, things like that, that I have not tested, put your input down at the bottom, because I think our first-hand experience is what's so important, and while we watch YouTube videos on the subject. And then also, if you use a higher quality cotton that is your favorite, let us know that too, because here we are in the middle of summertime, and a lot of people are looking to cotton for projects and whatnot, so that would be helpful. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, and we'll talk soon. Bye.